In life, there comes a point where you got to ask yourself a real simple question. Should I stay the same way I've been moving? Or should I walk away from those habits that keep people overlooking me? Because let's be honest, everybody wants respect. At work, at home, in relationships, even in the smallest conversations, we all want to feel like our voice matters. But here's the truth. Respect don't just fall out the sky. It ain't wrapped up in a gift box waiting for you at the door. Respect is built, it's shaped, it's earned. And if you don't understand the psychology behind it, you'll keep wondering why folks treat you like background noise instead of the headline. Now let me tell you something. People make up their minds about you before you even say a word. The way you walk in a room, the way your eyes settle, the way you hold your shoulders, it all speaks louder than your mouth ever could. And sometimes we think respect is about shouting louder, proving harder, showing off more. Nah, respect is about being grounded, unshakable, and consistent in who you are. That's what makes people stop and say, hold on, there's something different about this person. The psychology has these little secrets, little levers that pull at the human mind. Once you know them, you don't got to chase approval anymore. You don't got to beg for recognition. You start commanding it. People listen different when you talk. They look at you different when you stand. And here's the kicker. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 secrets straight from psychology that can flip the script on how people see you. These are not tricks. These are truths. When you understand them, you stop living in the shadows of, will they respect me? And start living in the light of, they have to respect me. Because respect, real respect, ain't optional when you learn how to carry yourself the right way. You ever notice how people walk around expecting respect just because they showed up? Like they think the world owes it to them simply because they exist. But life don't work like that. Respect ain't some participation trophy they hand out at the door. Respect is earned, and it's earned every single day through how you show up, how you carry yourself, and how you treat the people around you. See, the mistake a lot of us make is believing that respect and love are the same thing. They're not. Love can be unconditional. Somebody might love you just because you family or because they care about you. But respect, oh no, that's different. Respect is based on proof. Respect is built on what you show people, not just what you tell them. Now let me tell you something about presence. Presence is one of the most underrated parts of respect. People size you up in seconds. Before you even open your mouth, they're already reading you. They notice how you walk in the room. They see if you slouch, if you carry your head high, if you avoid eye contact, or if you meet their gaze. All of that tells a story. And the crazy thing is, people don't even know they're doing it. It's just human psychology. We are wired to judge, wired to detect strength, confidence, or insecurity before the first word is spoken. And if you don't understand that, you could already be losing respect before the conversation even begins. Think about it. When somebody steps into a room and they got that calm, grounded energy, they don't even got to announce themselves. Folks just feel it. They sit up a little straighter. They pay attention. But when someone storms in loud and wild, trying too hard to prove they belong, that energy does the opposite. Respect don't come from noise. Respect comes from composure. People respect the one who doesn't need to convince everybody of their worth because their presence alone speaks it. Now, actions, that's where most people fall short. You can't ask for respect with your mouth and then turn around and betray your own words with your behavior. Respect is a long game, and it's built on consistency. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. If you promise to show up, show up. People respect reliability because reliability is rare. Most folks don't follow through, so when they find somebody who does, it stands out. That's why integrity is such a powerful thing. Integrity ain't about being perfect. It's about being honest and steady. It's about matching your actions to your words, even when nobody's watching. That's the kind of thing that makes people twice before they dismiss you. But here's the other side of actions, how you treat people. Respect flows both ways. You can't demand respect while disrespecting others. You can't treat people like they don't matter and expect them to lift you up. The way you speak to the waiter at a restaurant, the way you talk to the janitor at your job, the way you acknowledge or ignore the people who don't have anything to give you. That's the real test. Because respect isn't about who's on top or who's on bottom. It's about recognizing human value across the board. And when people see that you honor others, even when there's nothing in it for you, they start honoring you differently. Now let's talk about the psychology of it. Human beings are wired to follow certain cues. We're naturally drawn to confidence, authenticity, and steadiness. That's why respect is earned through psychology as much as through actions. If you're always seeking approval, always second-guessing yourself, always trying to be liked, you're sending signals that you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? Respect is psychological because people mirror what they see. When you carry yourself like you matter, when you believe in your value, others can't help but start to believe in it too. And don't confuse respect with fear. Some folks think they're respected just because people don't challenge them. That's not respect. That's intimidation. True respect ain't about scaring people into silence. It's about earning their trust, their admiration, and their willingness to listen. Fear fades the moment power shifts. Respect lasts because it's rooted in something real. So here's the truth: respect is a choice you make daily. It's in how you show up, how you follow through, how you treat others, and how you see yourself. Nobody can hand it to you, and nobody can fake it for long. And once you get this down, you stop chasing it. You don't walk into rooms hoping people will like you. You walk into knowing that whether they like you or not, they will respect the way you carry yourself. That's the difference. That's why respect is never given freely. It's earned through presence, actions, and psychology. It's a funny thing about people. You can spend hours preparing what you're going to say, planning the perfect words, rehearsing your delivery, but by the time you open your mouth, most folks have already decided what they think about you. That's just how the human brain works. Within a matter of seconds, people form an opinion, and that first impression is powerful. It can either open the door for respect or close it before you even get a chance to step through. And the part that blows people's minds is that all of this happens silently. Nobody announces it. Nobody says, "I've judged you already." But make no mistake, they have. Now, here's the kicker. It's not what you say that sets the stage. It's how you carry yourself. The way you enter a room tells a whole story. Your walk, your posture, your facial expressions, your energy, all of that speaks volumes before your voice does. People are watching even when you think they aren't. And what they're picking up on is not just physical, but psychological. Because we're wired to look for cues of confidence, strength, and authenticity. If you drag your feet, avoid eye contact, keep your shoulders slumped, people don't see humility. They see hesitation. And hesitation doesn't inspire respect. Think about the times you've been around someone who didn't even have to talk, but you felt their presence immediately. They walked in with calmness, maybe even a little quiet, but you could feel that they knew who they were. They weren't performing, they weren't putting on a show, but their posture and their energy carried authority. That's the kind of thing that makes people lean in before you've said a word. It's not about being arrogant. It's not about strutting like you own the place. It's about carrying yourself with dignity, with a sense of self-respect so strong that others can't help but reflect it back to you. People size you up so fast because the brain is wired for survival. For thousands of years, humans had to make quick judgments about whether someone was a threat, whether they could be trusted, whether they had status in the group. Those instincts never left us. Today, it's the same psychology at work. When you meet someone, their brain is already answering questions. Do you seem confident? Do you look trustworthy? Do you appear like someone worth listening to? You don't have to like it, but you can't ignore it. And the sooner you learn to master those few seconds, the easier it becomes to earn respect in every situation. Now, let me tell you something that people get wrong. They think the way to command respect quickly is to go big, be loud, dominate the space, make sure everybody notices them. But that's not presence, that's noise. And noise doesn't equal respect. In fact, sometimes the loudest person in the room is the one people take the least seriously, because all that energy feels like desperation. The truth is, the strongest presence is often quiet, but undeniable. You don't have to convince anybody when your body language, your eye contact, and your calm composure are already doing the work. Carrying yourself the right way is also about consistency. You can't walk into one room like you own the place and then shrink into the background somewhere else. Respect comes when people see that no matter where you are, no matter who you're talking to, you carry yourself with the same sense of value. Whether it's the boardroom or the barbershop, whether you're with the CEO or the janitor, you don't adjust your worth based on the setting. That steadiness is what makes people trust you. And trust is the foundation of respect. Let's not forget about the power of eye contact. It sounds simple, but it's one of the first ways people size you up. Look someone in the eye, not to intimidate, not to overpower, but to show that you are present, engaged, and unafraid. Shifty eyes, avoiding glances, looking at the floor. All of that sends signals of insecurity. When you meet someone's gaze and hold it with calm confidence, you're telling them without words, I believe in myself and I acknowledge you. That's respect flowing both ways, and it builds connection before a single word is exchanged. And then there's your energy. People may not remember everything you say, but they will remember how you made them feel. If you carry yourself with bitterness, negativity, or tension, people feel it. But if you walk in with grounded confidence, a balanced energy, and a sense of assurance, people feel that too. Energy speaks, and it speaks louder than words. That's why those first few seconds are so critical. They set the emotional tone for every interaction that follows. So the reality is simple people are sizing you up in seconds, whether you like it or not. The choice you have is how you're going to show up. Will you let insecurity, doubt, or desperation write the story before you even speak, or will you let confidence, composure, and authenticity do the talking for you? Because when you understand that how you carry yourself matters more than the words on your tongue, you start living with intention. You realize every step, every glance, every gesture is a chance to earn respect before the conversation even begins. There's this big misconception out there that if you want respect, you got to be the loudest person in the room. People think if they talk over everybody else, if they make the most noise, if they constantly demand attention, then somehow folks will line up to give them respect. But let me tell you something real. Noise does not equal respect. Being loud might get you noticed, but it doesn't get you valued. Respect has never been about volume. It's about depth. It's about being grounded in who you are, authentic in how you show up, and consistent enough that people know what to expect from you. That's what people actually respect. When you're grounded, you move different. You don't get blown around by every opinion, every rumor, every shift in the room. Grounded people carry themselves with stability. It's like a tree with deep roots. It doesn't matter how strong the wind blows. That tree isn't going anywhere. That's how people want to feel around you. They want to know you're not the type to switch up every time the situation changes. Because nothing destroys respect faster than unpredictability. If people don't know which version of you is going to show up today, the confident one, the insecure one, the angry one, they stop trusting you. And without trust, respect can't exist. Now, authenticity, that's the second piece. You can't fake respect. You might be able to fool people for a little while, but sooner or later the mask slips. Authenticity is when who you are on the inside matches what you show on the outside. People have this natural radar for fakeness. They can't always explain it, but they can feel it. When someone's pretending, when they're putting on a show just to get liked, it doesn't sit right. But when you're authentic, even if people don't agree with everything you say, they respect you because they know you're real. And in today's world, realness is rare. That's why authenticity earns respect more than any fancy title or big speech ever could. Let me break it down. Imagine you're dealing with a boss who always changes their personality depending on who's in the room. Around higher-ups, they're polite and charming. Around their team, they're cold and dismissive. How much respect does that kind of person really earn? Not much, because people can see the act. Now imagine another leader who talks to everybody the same way, whether it's the CEO or the intern. They might not be the loudest. They might not even be the most charismatic, but people respect them because they're consistent and authentic. They don't need to perform. Who they are is who they are, no matter the audience. That's real power. And let's talk about consistency, because that's the glue that holds respect together. Anybody can be impressive once. Anybody can show up strong for a day, or a week, or even a month. But respect doesn't come from a single moment. It comes from patterns. Consistency is showing up the same way over and over, proving that people can rely on you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being dependable. If people know that you'll keep your word, if they know that your behavior won't suddenly change with the wind, then they start to respect you on a deeper level. Respect grows where consistency lies. Now, here's where people get it twisted. They think consistency is boring. They think if they don't constantly reinvent themselves or grab the spotlight, people will forget them. But the opposite is true. The more consistent you are, the more people remember you because they can count on you. Loud people might get the headlines, but steady people build the legacy. And in the long run, it's not the noise that lasts. It's the foundation. When you're grounded, authentic, and consistent, people know where you stand. They don't have to guess who you are today. They don't have to question whether you're putting on a show. That's the kind of presence that commands respect without demanding it. You don't need to raise your voice or prove yourself every 5 minutes. Your very being proves it for you. Respect is not about how much space you can take up with your noise. It's about how much weight your character carries in silence. Think about the people you truly respect in your own life. Are they the ones who were always the loudest, always making a scene, always trying to dominate every conversation? Probably not. More often than not. They're the people who stood firm in their values. They didn't talk over others, they listened. They didn't have to brag, their actions spoke. They didn't waver when it was inconvenient. They showed up the same way, day after day. That's what builds respect. So here's the truth. If you want respect, stop worrying about volume. Stop thinking you got it out. Shout the world to be taken seriously. Respect doesn't come to the loudest voice. It comes to the strongest presence. And presence is built on 3 things: being grounded enough to stay steady, authentic enough to be real, and consistent enough to be trusted. That's the recipe. That's what makes people lean in, even when you say nothing at all. One thing people don't always realize is that respect isn't just about manners, titles, or money. It runs deeper than that. Respect is tied to how the human brain is wired, and psychology plays a bigger role in it than most folks ever think about. There are hidden triggers inside us, little switches that, when flipped, make us start valuing and trusting someone almost without even realizing why. And if you don't understand these triggers, you might keep doing things that push respect away, even while you're trying your hardest to earn it. Think about how quickly we form opinions. In just a few moments, your mind has already decided whether to trust, admire, or dismiss somebody. That's because our brains are designed to pick up signals. Signals of honesty, signals of confidence, signals of connection. And those signals are often more powerful than any words you could put together. People respect who they feel they can trust, and trust is built through psychology as much as through action. One of the strongest triggers for respect is confidence. Now, I don't mean arrogance. Arrogance is loud. It's needy, it screams for attention. Confidence is different. It's quiet assurance. It's when someone carries themselves like they know who they are, like they don't need validation from the room to prove their worth. That kind of energy triggers something in people's minds. When you see someone steady, calm, and secure in themselves, your brain says, this is someone I can respect. We're drawn to confidence because it feels safe, it feels like leadership, it feels like stability. Another powerful trigger is consistency. Our brains crave predictability. We trust what we can rely on. If a person is kind one day and cruel, the next respectful in one setting and dismissive in another, our minds can't settle. And when we can't settle, we can't fully respect them. But when someone is consistent, when they show up the same way again and again, it signals reliability. That reliability creates trust, And trust opens the door to respect. People don't respect what feels shaky. They respect what feels steady. Then there's authenticity. This might be the biggest trigger of all. We are wired to respond to realness. When someone is authentic, their words and actions match. They don't put on a show depending on who's watching. They don't hide behind a mask just to be liked. Authenticity makes people feel safe because it's honest. And our brains value honesty because it signals survival. When we know what's real, we know what we can count on. That's why even if people don't agree with you, they'll still respect you if you're authentic. They might not like everything you stand for, but they can't deny that you're real. Let's not forget the psychology of listening.